Very pretty, huh?
Today we're visiting the Audubon State Historic Site in Oakley Plantation, just outside of Saint Francisville, Louisiana. John James Audubon came to this area in 1821 to teach Miss Eliza Pyree, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James Pyree, owners of Oakley Plantation. He would teach in the mornings, then spend the afternoons working on his drawings and paintings for his The Birds of America book, which was published in 1838. Though he left after only 4 months at Oakley, he worked on 32 bird paintings while he was there. Oakley was built circa 1815. The rooms have been restored in the late Federal period style, common in the late 18th and early 19th century, giving visitors a glimpse of how the home may have looked when Audubon was there.
So I first start off by explaining that there were 4 generations of family that lived here spanning over 150 years. So what you're seeing is the first generation. It's the frontier. Think of it more like Thomas Jefferson and Jane Austen as opposed to like Scarlet with Gone with the Wind. For example, did y'all see the limited first edition prints in the auditorium yet? Right. Well, I don't know if you noticed on the back wall they have a belted kingfisher. And that was a bird he did while here at Oakley. But the backgrounds are mountains. And then I'll mention this family, they were extremely wealthy. They were millionaires, probably more than likely billionaires, the top 1%. The first generation, this was set in the Regency or the Federal period, and the theme for that was elegant simplicity. So that's why you'll see everything is elegant, simple, minimal, and understated. Now, of course, in the second generation, when the Victorian era came in, that's when they brought in all the grand furniture, the frills, the laces, the red velvet, and they painted the house white to reflect that as well. Now, Peary spent some time in the West Indies, and he brought a lot of those designs and concepts back in the construction of the home. For example, the house faces east, so the sun will set in the back of the house, shading this the majority of the day, making it a little bit cooler in here. And what we're in is called an English raised basement. The ceilings are a little bit lower, and then the bricks were placed directly into the ground to draw out moisture from the earth, making it a little bit cooler in here as well. Which is why their dining room is on this quote-unquote basement level instead of the second floor where you commonly see them in other plantations.
It's leather.
Now, right here, did you see how thick the walls are?
Yeah,
that's because this is the end of the original home. This was an exterior wall. So out here would have been originally an outside porch. To go up and down each level, you'd have to go outside into the weather and go up and down. Now, when they built the kitchen, it's built directly behind us. So when they did that, they enclosed this portion out of the butler's pantry and that little storage room that we saw in the first area. Now, in the butler's pantry, you'll see there are 4 different patterns of china, one for each generation of women that lived here. The top left, the silver-looking pieces, that is going to be pewterware, and it predates America.
Wow. Oh, wow.
This again is originally an outside porch with the lean, and we have an exterior window right here.
When we came up, I said, oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
Why it wasn't.
Now you're looking at a little sitting area sewing nook. And then this is Eliza, age 26. So Eliza was married 3 times. At the age of 18, going completely against her parents' wishes, knowing she's going to be fully disowned, meaning never receiving a penny ever again for the rest of her life. So her mother Lucretia is first generation. Eliza is second generation. Eliza's daughter Isabel will be third. Isabel moves here with her husband. They have 6 children over a span of 16 years. And here are 2 of those children. So this will be your 4th generation. This is Lucy, and that is Ida. They are post-Civil War babies and never married. So Ida is the last family to die here at Oakley in 1930. Lucy is the last to live here. At the age of 89 in 1942, she literally packs a bag, leaves everything in the house, and moves to New Orleans. Wow. The house was abandoned for 5 years, and then in 1947, she sold it to the state for about $10,000. It took them 9 years to restore at over $1 million. And when they did that, this became the business office. And we know that because of the separate entrance and exit for all your business calls.
Wow, more.
Now, above the mantle is Peary. That's our Scotsman or Spanish alcalde. The reason why we're named Oakley is because Peary is from around a little town called Oakley in Scotland. During the day, this was the library for the entire family. And then after the evening meal, it became the gentleman's parlor. Women were not allowed in here after the evening meal. So the men would gather, play poker, gamble, drink, smoke, talk about politics, business, rebellions. And we were under Spain for some time, so this is going to be their money. It's a Spanish mil dollar, pieces of 8, Spanish gold to Spanish real. That is the only piece of money that Spain would give out. So if you needed to purchase something that was less than $1 or make change, you would have to cut the coin into bits, which is where you get the phrase 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1 from.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if you look closely, every bluish green, red, yellow area that you see, these are all plantations. All over here. Along the Mississippi River and then the Red River.
Oh yeah, it goes way up here.
It does, all the way.
Wow.
We're located up here in the West Louisiana area, and the different colors represent what kind of crop it was. So we know that the red is cotton because that's what we are on the map, and then the other ones will be something like indigo, sugarcane, maybe even possibly soybeans or tobacco.
Okay.
I don't know if that's right.
Oh, look at the cows. Wow. I had a piece one time like this. So much of that.
Yeah. Now, this is the end of the original home, and when it was the original home, this was the bedroom for the entire family. Now, when they added on, it became the grand parlor. So this is where all your social visits will enter. They'll come up the carriage path, walk up the grand staircase, enter into this room. This is where the family will have their entertaining, music, dancing, parties, things like that. Here is Lucretia, our Dr. Lucy. She's dressed in black. She is in mourning. She had just lost her 5th out of 7 children. She only had 2 daughters that made it into adulthood. A daughter with her first husband named Mary Ann, and then her daughter Eliza with Peary. And this is Eliza, age 16, and that's who Audubon came to tutor. He would tutor her in this room in the mornings in arithmetic, literature, music, dancing, drawing, painting, hunting, French, Latin, and even hair braiding. The only room in the house to be carpeted. You'll notice in every couple of boards, they have tack marks.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a sample of the carpet, hand-painted by slaves on woven burlap covered with a varnish. So it's more like linoleum as opposed to carpet. Now they would only bathe their bodies about once a week and wash their hair about once a month. But at least with the ladies' hat tub, you could sit down and wash your feet every day if you wanted. So this is the little foot tub.
Okay.
In the next room, we will see another tub, and that's a hip tub where you can get into your hip, more than likely where they take their bath and wash their hair. Now right here is underneath the staircase to the attic.
Okay.
Because they have this space, they had to create a symmetrical space on this side, which is why they do have this closet right here.
Oh.
Which was mainly used for storage because of course they didn't have coat hangers yet.
Right. Yeah. Just think of that.
Now the room over here, this was Eliza's bedroom when she was growing up. Her armoire, her clothes, her bedding, or her bed. The hip tub that I mentioned, and then above her bed she has the mosquito netting, which is what they would have had in the summer. Then they have a child's bed. The rails do adjust.
Oh.
So you could adjust them according to the age and size of the child. And then they're on casters, so you could roll around the room, the house, or onto the sleeping porch.
Oh, nice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Now this is a concept that Peary brought back from the West Indies. The louvers are in a fixed 45-degree position to keep the rain and the sunlight out. Now you have to remember, all of the trees were cut down or they were gone. It was cotton as far as you could see. So when you feel a breeze come in, you'll really feel a breeze come in, no trees. It'll go up at the 45-degree angle, hit the curved ceiling, and roll down. So you'll feel a breeze more than one time. It's kind of like its own little natural fan. Peary built Oakley to be tall and narrow so that the family could stay here in the summer. They'd open all the windows, the doors, the transoms throughout the entire home to allow for that cross breeze and ventilation. Sometimes they would definitely bring their bedding out here with the mosquito net and sleep on this porch. You see, other plantations tend to be bigger, wider, with rooms throughout that don't allow for that cross breeze and ventilation. So those families would have to leave in the summer, whereas this family would stay.
After leaving the home, we walked around to the south into the garden area, where small fruit trees, grapes, and herbs would have been grown. The kitchen area is located only steps away from the garden area to the west. Most of the buildings from the original plantation are no longer here. There was once a smokehouse for preserving meat, as well as a dairy. Corn cribs held food for animals. A grist mill ground corn and wheat into meal and flour. A blacksmith shop would have repaired plows and made shoes for horses. There would also have been a cotton gin to produce the cotton bales for the original 3,100-acre plantation. The original cabins here were built in the 1840s and are where the household servants would have lived. Inside you'll find items similar to those found in the archaeological exploration of the area. The Audubon State Historic Site and Oakley Plantation are a great place to see history up close and to learn more about John James Audubon, one of the most well-known wildlife artists of the 19th century. His book, The Birds of America, features 435 life-size prints and is still considered the standard against other bird artists. While he was only at Oakley for a short amount of time in 1821, it was here that his artistry truly took flight. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon on our next adventure. This is one of John J. Audubon's first helicopter designs. He worked on this in the early 1800s whenever he was here doing his drawings.
And someone had to come over
And they would push it.
and manually start running. I don't know
And
if it could like right.
Yeah, that's why it didn't work, because it just was manual
Yeah.
and you could only spin it so fast.